They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Part of a major function of the Commission is to prevent corruption by educating and fostering the support and cooperation of various segments of the society for the fight against corruption through various initiatives. For the youth segment, one of the initiatives is the Anti-Corruption Club set up in secondary schools across Nigeria by catching them young through instilling sound moral values in students. To do this, competitions ranging from essay writing to debates on the theme of anti-corruption are organized by ICPC from time to time for the anti-corruption clubs. Today on the program, we shall focus on the recently concluded National Anti-Corruption Essay Competition organized for students' anti-corruption clubs and held across some major cities in Nigeria. Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Hawa Garba. Ruth Awodi is standing by with stories on anti-corruption. Over to you, Ruth.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awudi. A Zamfara State High Court sitting in Gusau has sentenced a 7-member of the State's House of Assembly, Lawali Atahiru Dogonkade, to 4 years imprisonment over an alleged 31 million naira fraud. Dogonkade, who was arraigned by ICPC on a 4-count charge bordering on conferring corrupt advantage on himself, admitted guilt before Justice Bello Shinkafi, thereby leading to his immediate conviction by the court. The convict, representing Karanamuda local government in the Zamfara State House of Assembly, was accused of using his position to confer corrupt advantage upon himself in a 31.2 million naira contract meant for the supply of medical equipment to the state government in violation of sections 10, 12 and 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. Counsel to ICPC, Mashuku Salisu, in one of the counts told the court that the convict received 4.5 million naira from the managing director of Madaki Pharmacy, Mr. Hamisu Saminu Jibril, as percentage for the supply of medical equipment, contract awarded by the state government. Counsel, Mr. Abubakar Junaidu, had earlier argued on the propriety of the charge before the court, saying that the accused had been charged one time before the Federal High Court in Gusau by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, but the trial judge overruled his argument and shortly after, the convict entered into a guilty plea. Junaidu then pleaded with the court to be lenient with his client, considering the fact that he was a first-time offender with a large family and dependents who solely rely on him for their livelihood. Following his guilty plea, the counsel to the commission invited the court to convict him in line with the provisions of Section 274, subsection 2 of Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. The court thereupon convicted the accused person as charged and sentenced him to 4 years imprisonment or payment of fine of 30,000 naira on each of the counts, totaling 120,000 naira. Religious leaders in the country have been urged to preach the message of anti-corruption given the important role they play in shaping the attitudes of their followers. Representing the Commission, Director of Education Department, Baba Ashiru, made this call during an education excursion by religious leaders from Luxterra Leadership Foundation, an interreligious organization, to the Commission's headquarters recently. He urged the religious leaders to be actively engaged in the fight against corruption by using the opportunity of their positions of authority to also preach integrity messages in order to reduce the menace. The Director Education Department also urged the Foundation to partner with the Commission's own Religious Leaders Forum structure, created since 2007, and students' anti-corruption clubs in secondary schools aimed at inculcating sound moral values in the minds of the youths.
99% of the population of Nigeria believes in one religion or the other. Now, corruption is the matter of the heart. Since it is a matter of the heart, it requires attitudinal change to reduce it to barest minimum. And the religious institution plays a pivotal role in ensuring attitudinal change amongst their followers. That, in essence, is the reason why we said we cannot do without leaders of religion. So you should consider yourself very lucky having been selected by Luxterra Foundation to attend their training. It is train the trainer. You are leaders in your own right, so you are expected to carry the message forward.
Earlier, the Executive Director of the Foundation, George Ehusani, who was represented by Henry Ijoma, said that the visit to ICPC was a fact-finding one and that the group comprised Muslim and Christian leaders undergoing training. He added that they will be enlightened on how to use religious institutions, networks, and resources to fight the menace of corruption while promoting a culture of integrity in Nigeria.
Luxterra is already a family name at ICPC. So we don't come here as strangers anymore, we come here as family members. Because in the last 1 year, we have been partnering with ICPC to forge the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, sir, we are here again this time with another set of participants, both Christian and Muslim leaders. They will be with us for 5 days in the whole, learning and engaging on how they can use their Christian and Islamic resources to fight the scourge of corruption in Nigeria. We're asking that these new participants that are with us will be enlightened more on what their role as religious leaders is and should continue to be in helping the fight against corruption. We have about 120 pastors and imams who almost on a weekly basis engage their audience on thoughts and teachings against corruption in Nigeria. And we are sure that because especially your mandate is about education, that is the fastest way to fight corruption. Our work in enlightening our participants and urging them to do the same with those who are under their care will go a long way to give people the education they need concerning education. And we know that education in itself is empowerment. Mr. Chairman, we are saying with all pride that our participants all over, the North Central especially, have been doing tremendous work on this fight. Some have even gone ahead to adopt schools that they are mentoring young people on the fight against corruption. Beyond that, we have people who have taken our pledges for accountability, and they have sworn that they will continue to live lives of integrity. Like we say in the Christian maxim, that if you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot preach like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus by your action and your words. We have people who have committed that their lives in itself will be an example for others to follow as people of integrity and accountability ambassadors.
That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues. Stay with us.
corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
If you are just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. In order to make students engage actively in the campaign against corruption, the Commission, in collaboration with a non-governmental organization, Youth Alive Foundation, and supported by the British government's Department for International Development, DFID, organized the just concluded ICPC National Anti-Corruption Essay Competition. ICPC's Director of Education, Mohammed Ashiru Baba, speaks more on the idea behind the competition.
Let me start from the beginning. Any competition you see ICPC organizing is an offshoot of a major program. The essay competition is an aftermath of the resuscitation and the rejuvenation of anti-corruption clubs that have been on the ground. We have formed anti-corruption clubs across the country, both in private and public secondary schools. This is a program we've been organizing we've been carrying out since 2003, with a view to catching the young ones, catching the younger generations at their formative age, and then inculcating sound moral values in them so that they will grow up very good citizens. It is our belief that if we succeed in doing that, we groom them up, there will be fewer people to arrest on the account of corruption. Now, along the line, as they carry out some of the activities we ask them to carry out according to the guidelines on the formation of these clubs, we decided we needed to be testing them to see whether they are actually in tune with the fight against corruption and how prepared they are to contribute their quota to the crusade. That was why we introduced the competition. Competitions take the format of debate, take the format of essay competition. We've had a series of such competitions in the past, but the latest one was as a result of our resuscitation and rejuvenation exercise, and then we gave them some topics to write on. We covered 5 states: Akwa Ibom, Kano, Lagos, Rivers, and the FCT. Participation must be was only open for members of the anti-corruption clubs. You must have an anti-corruption club as a secondary school, be it private or public secondary school, to participate in the competition. And we had 1,533 students rejuvenated who participated in the rejuvenation exercise, and we had 322 students participating in the competition, drawn from 126 secondary schools across the country. I mean, across the 4 states and Abuja. Yes, we always try as much as possible to disassociate ourselves in the assessment. So we involve NECO, National Examination Council. It's a National Examination Council that does the assessment of the script. During the rejuvenation and resuscitation exercise, we announced, we called for entries. And the schools that participated, like I said, submitted their entries. And we brought the entries here in Abuja and we gave them to NECO. NECO assigned its senior examiners, they assessed the entries, and they brought out the best 5. So the best 5 were all invited with their chaperones and their guardians and parents to Abuja. Yes, a day to the prize giving ceremony. They were accommodated in Abuja for 2 nights. And the very day the prize giving ceremony was to take place, they had to rewrite the essay competition all over again, just to be sure, in close supervision by ICPC officers, just to be sure that the scripts are original, that they indeed originated the scripts. And you know, the exercise actually proved us right, because the person who had emerged first in the first exercise, first round of the exercise, emerged third in the final round. So you can see that. Yes. So we had both private and public secondary schools, emerging as winners. Incidentally, we had 3 females, 1 male. So that was not. So the females students actually performed better, and NECO did the assessment, and thank God the final results were accepted unanimously.
Corruption not in my country.
So, bring her. You sure say complete so?
Collect her now.
Bring her.
He complete. Madam, next time, may you just come. Let's get.
Correct guy. You got original Santana. My customer want to buy original Santana rice.
I'm Osi.
Original Santana.
Okay, original. Correct guy.
Come here.
Correct Santana.
Santana rice there for market.
Oh Santana.
Ko Santana. Santana no ni. Fit take over.
Madam, so you mean there's no original Santana rice in the market? My sister Santana rice no there for market. Ibabu! Leave me make I talk. This one where I go package the wrong thing inside the right bag, call and say na original, na act of corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
In her remarks during the award of prizes immediately after the competition, the spokesperson for the Commission and Director Public Enlightenment, Mrs. Rashidat Okodwa MNI, noted the importance of such competitions.
Competitions ranging from essay writing to debates have been organized by the Commission since 2007 among student members of ICPC anti-corruption clubs nationwide, with the aim of getting the students actively engaged in the fight against corruption. This is part of the major function of the Commission in preventing corruption by educating and fostering the support and cooperation of the public in the fight against corruption, as contained in Section 6, E and F of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. It is therefore important to note that competitions such as this among students are not conducted for the fun of it, but for the purpose of inculcating sound moral values and instilling zero tolerance for corruption in the psyche of the students in their formative stage.
Mrs. Okodwa also emphasized the need for the sustainability of the anti-corruption clubs.
I would like to appeal to principals of schools and schools' regulatory agencies to team up with the Commission in kitting and making the anti-corruption clubs active, as this will facilitate the students' understanding and appreciation of the need to shun corruption wherever they are. It is in realization of these objectives that the Commission collaborated with the Youth Alive Foundation to organize this competition as aftermath of the Anti-Corruption Club's rejuvenation exercise conducted by ICPC Education Department and funded by DFID.
Finalist Umbong Utebabasi of Imperial Secondary School Eket, Akwa Ibom State, beat the other 4 to the star prize of a state-of-the-art computer laptop, while Orogbu Nnedima of New Fountain Secondary School, Lagos, and Apuka Victor Okeze of King's College, Lagos, were first and second runners-up respectively. Both runners-up also received computer prizes. Some of the award winners of the essay competition who spoke to ICPC camera lenses reiterated the need for belief in oneself, saying that it was possible for one to succeed in life without cheating.
Well, my advice to them is that they should try and restrain from it, because there will be lots of improvements and changes in Nigeria if we stop our corrupt practices. The nation will be a better, more habitable place for people.
I would advise those people to restrain from such acts because after all, hard work pays off. I would advise them to read their books more so as not to indulge in examination malpractice.
It depends on our mindset. Every individual has the power to change situations around you, and it depends on how much you try, how much you put into whatever you're doing, because you cannot be born, nobody's born and then ends up a criminal.
Also in his goodwill message, the head of Operation Youth Alive Foundation, Chris Ayim, expressed appreciation to ICPC for the opportunity to execute the project.
Today, I give this goodwill message because we want to specially commend ICPC amongst all other agencies who has taught this as a mantra which they should use to implement, to touch lives and make children see themselves as great leaders of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone here on behalf of DFID and Youth Alive Foundation, and we look forward to much more projects we could do in the future. Thank you very much.
NEPAD under the African Union, New Partnership for Africa's Development, is an organ of African Union. And in Nigeria, we have launched the Violence-Free Election Sensitization Program in partnership with anti-corruption agencies. And one message we are sending out is shun violence, shun vote buying, and vote wisely.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we are in Abuja.
Keep quiet there. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Children are no doubt the leaders of tomorrow. If the virtues of honesty and transparency are inculcated in them, the nation can be assured of a next generation of leaders and citizens with integrity. That's our package on this week's edition. Remember, you can make inquiries and suggestions via our toll-free numbers as shown on the screen. You can also watch the program on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. I am Hawa Garba, saying bye for now.